Okay, hi everybody, and welcome. It is on. It is on. All right, thank you. Hi everyone, and welcome to the 4th annual Tahoe Pitch Showcase. Annual has a light asterisk. We took the last 2 years off for obvious reasons, but we are thrilled to be back in person for the 4th annual asterisk Tahoe Pitch Showcase. Thank you for coming and celebrating and supporting our local entrepreneurial ecosystem. We are really happy to have you all here. The Tahoe Pitch Camp and Showcase is a collaboration between 2 local nonprofits, Sierra Business Council, which let me just back up and introduce myself, Jessica Carr, the director of the Small Business Development Center at Sierra Business Council. Thank you. Housekeeping done. So Pitch Camp and Showcase is a collaboration between 2 local nonprofits, Sierra Business Council and Tahoe Silicon Mountain. And I have a couple of housekeeping items before I carry on. One is please silence your cell phones. And the other is that this is being live streamed and recorded, just FYI. Thank you. Okay. Welcome. So first, I have to give a huge shout out to our sponsors. This event would not happen without the support of these organizations on the screen. Many of these organizations have been supporting the showcase since 2017, its first year, and we are very grateful for their partnership. Please join me in thanking Plumas Bank, the Truckee Core Values Fund, McCullough Web Services, the Lyft Workspace, Nina Miller Photography, and Pamela Hurt Associates CEO, Pam Hobday. Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you. We are very grateful. I'd also like to thank Tahoe Silicon Mountain sponsors Holland and Hart and Mobo Law, as well as the Small Business Development Center partners, the SBA, Small Business Administration, and the California Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development. And now I'm going to hand it over to Ellen Rayner to talk about Tahoe Silicon Mountain.
Well, welcome. This is our first in-person indoors event in 2.5 years, and we expect to continue monthly after this. It's been 12 years for Tahoe Silicon Mountain that we've been doing monthly events. So our mission's up on the screen. We're focused on fostering innovation, cultivating curiosity, and facilitating personal connections. We are a 100% volunteer organization, and we are really proud to have been partnering for 6 years now with Sierra Business Council. We would ask that you sign up for our newsletter. That's the best way to learn about what's coming in the next month. We only send a few emails per month. So email newsletter, the best way to learn. You can also follow us on our Facebook group and look at past events. We have YouTube archives for many, many years worth of monthly meetings. Our flagship series is our Mountain Minds Monday. This is Mountain Minds Monday, the second Monday of the month, and we expect to continue being back to in-person up at Pizza on the Hill in Tahoe Donner next month. So one more plug for the YouTube archives, and thanks for joining us. We're excited to share the program tonight.
Thank you, Ellen. Okay, so briefly, an introduction of SBC, Sierra Business Council. Our offices are right across the hall, is a Truckee-based nonprofit serving the economic, environmental, and social needs of the Sierra Nevada. Our foundational economic empowerment program is the Sierra Small Business Development Center, which is funded primarily by the SBA and GoBiz, previous acronyms that I mentioned already. The mission of the Sierra SBDC is to help businesses start, grow, and thrive. And to accomplish this, we host workshops like Tahoe Pitch Camp. So Tahoe Pitch Camp is a month-long workshop series that this year welcomed 15 businesses in to refine their company's pitch. Over the course of 4 workshops and countless hours of coaching and mentoring, the 6 finalists you will hear from tonight worked hard to ready their business propositions for tonight's showcase. The workshop was led this year by Aaron Sturm, and we could not do this without our amazing mentors. Some of them are here tonight, and they worked one-on-one with these businesses to provide valuable feedback to ready their pitch. So their names are here. I'm going to read them out loud because they're really amazing. Jan Holen, Jeff Smith, Dave Depew, Judy Depew, Connie Galippi, Ellen Rayner, Jane Pock, Tim Kelly, and Ed Steinglass. Thank you all for your time and energy. We also could not do this without our esteemed judges over here, our panel of judges. We have Mark Zimring, the Director, Large Scale Fisheries and Food Systems Innovation at the Nature Conservancy. We have Rachel McCullough, McCullough Web Services, a web design agency based in Truckee, and also, fun fact, the co-founder of Tahoe Silicon Mountain. And Megan Bristol, co-founder and principal designer at Tahoe Modern and Tahoe Silicon Mountain board member. Thank you for coming. Okay, the main event. So here's how tonight's going to work. We have 6 entrepreneurs who are going to pitch their ideas. The first 3 are Truckee High School students. The next 3 are companies. And first we're going to have the students. So each finalist delivers a 5-minute pitch. You guys have a job. At the end of 5 minutes, a timer will go off. I will start clapping and you all have to clap along with me. Okay. It's a hard stop at 5 minutes. It's very difficult to fit all of their amazing information into 5 minutes. So we're going to have to be tough. Then after they're done, the judges have 5 minutes for questions. We are going to be equally tough on the judges for the 5-minute cutoff. I don't know how much applause. We'll see about the applause. We'll have to find out. At the end of the evening, the judges will deliberate on 2 winners. And during that time, we invite you to select the people's choice. So that's an audience choice. That's the small dot you were given at check-in. Behind you on the wall are 6 pieces of paper representing each of the people pitching tonight. You'll put your dot on the wall, ideally in an organized fashion for easy counting, please. And that will be how we determine the people's choice winner. If you're listening on the YouTube live stream, you can also vote in the comments, wherever that camera is. You see it. So you can vote in the comments. We will take your vote into account there as well. So that is for the pitch that resonated the most for you personally, the most impactful pitch for you. All right. So tonight, the 6 entrepreneurs are pitching for cash prizes, chamber memberships, Lyft workspace memberships, professional headshots, and speaking opportunities with Tahoe Silicon Mountain. We're lucky tonight to have the 3 Truckee High School students pitching alongside 3 companies, and there will be 2 Judges' Choice winners in addition to the People's Choice winner. We are beginning the evening with our first student entrepreneur. So please welcome everybody, Isaac Pacheco Martinez, to the stage. Okay, here's your mic.
Hey.
Here's your slide deck. Clicker. Okay. That one forwards.
Cool.
Okay. Getting my timer ready. You're good to go whenever you want.
Hello, my name is Isaac Martinez, and I'm the founder of Tahoe-Truckee Pet Services, a local pet sitting service oriented towards giving part-time jobs to the Truckee High School and North Tahoe students. I have worked in the pet sitting service for the past 2 years for over 7 pet sitters on average of 3 times a month. The pet sitting market is currently served in Tahoe-Truckee with 500 pets being adopted every single year on top of all of those that are already in our community. There is a very big need for pets, for pet sitting services when people are constantly leaving for travel, for work, for anything like that. So people that would be using our service would be vacationers, people leaving for work purposes, families leaving to visit family, and anything else that you may think of. So Tahoe-Truckee Pet Sitting, TTPS's goal is to meet the demand for pet sitters in our community while also creating part-time jobs for the local youth. TTPS would provide customers with the resumes of students and through Nextdoor. It would also allow both parties to agree on pay and hours and any special requests that the pet sitters may have. TTPS would be easily navigatable by showing the resumes, spreading contact information easily, and also just developing job opportunities would be simple and understandable. Pet owners and students would pay a $50 annual fee in order to use our services, and they would be paying in order to have their resumes posted while also being matched with customers or pet sitters. In order to ensure the safety of our customers and the pets, we recommend that you keep in constant communication with the pet sitters and their parents, also potentially asking the pet sitters for constant pictures of your home and pets to ensure that everything is going according to plan, while also communicating with your surrounding neighbors in order to make sure that everything is going well, that they're not throwing any parties or anything like that, and also just potentially schedule a meet and greet with the pet sitter in order to get to know them and also for them to get to know your pet. I took a 50 student poll at North Tahoe High School, and I got back that 90% of students showed interested in being pet sitters for my business. And I took a 25 person poll that showed that 81% of adults were showing interest in using pet sitting service. I also had a student at North Tahoe go through the Tahoe-Truckee pet service process by developing a resume and matching with other people looking for pet sitters, and he is currently pet sitting for 2 owners of that live in Tahoe City. So if we had 150 year-long users, we would develop $7,500 in revenue a year, and our customers would definitely increase throughout the year by promoting our services on social media such as YouTube and Instagram and Twitter, anything like that. And the worker's revenue would depend on what he agrees on being paid with his employer. And the deal, all money made by TTPS would be used to promote our services on a larger scale, as I said earlier, or also would be saved. The money would eventually be saved in hopes of developing this further into an app instead of just being, documents exchanged by people. And I'm asking community advisors for a $2,000 donation in order to cover our first year of general liability insurance to ensure the safety of our pet owners and our pets and customers. Thank you very much.
Hi, thank you so much. I was wondering if you've thought about scaling it beyond just Tahoe-Truckee and have any ideas on how you would do that?
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely thought about that. And I think that we would start off small, probably going further than Tahoe-Truckee, maybe the surrounding regions. But for now, it would definitely be just spreading this through social media, word of mouth, all of that. And eventually, if it were to be scaled on a larger level, it would definitely become an app. So it would be less just switching or like just transactions of forms and resumes.
Are you done?
Yep.
Hi, thanks so much. So as the business owner, is your primary source of revenue from the annual fee, or are you also making like a percentage of each dog sitting or cat sitting or animal sitting?
All the revenue for me as the owner would definitely be just from the annual fee. It would be a slight percentage of the total cost.
Great presentation. One of the things that I loved was the kind of mission orientation. Can you talk about the competitive landscape? How do you know that there is an unmet need, and where are people going today for pet sitting services? How do you anticipate kind of growing the business in the context of that broader business landscape?
Yeah, for sure. So as of now, I do know that there's other pet sitting services out there like Rover, but those require you to be over 18 and also have a means of transportation in order to just be a worker for that. And I know that right now, many people are just going to people that they know instead of anyone. And it's usually hard because if you don't have anyone that you know that is able to do it in the days that you can, you may just not be able to leave town. So, sorry, may you repeat the question?
Just was wondering how you see the business being positioned in the context of the competitive landscape. So Rover and any other folks that are pretty active in this space at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. So as of now, I believe that the advantage that we have over our competition would be that we are hiring people under the age of 18 that are still in high school. This would allow them to work part-time, while other companies such as Rover, as you said, only, allow 18 plus people with cars, stuff like that.
So I was wondering, the $50 a year fee that people are paying, how do you sell that to them? Like, how many jobs would a person have to take to make that fee back? How do you make it worth it?
Yeah, for sure. Well, everyone's resume would be posted, and I believe that since we're starting off small, everyone would be receiving multiple jobs, and it would truly just depend on what they agree on with the people that they're being hired by. It would just be how many hours they're being scheduled, at what what the hourly wage would be.
One of the challenges one might imagine is building people's confidence in just kind of reliable service from folks who are likely to be doing this part-time. Have you thought about how you might validate and kind of bring people into the network and ensure, either through a probationary period or otherwise, that they're showing up in a productive way to kind of build the reputation of the model?
Yeah, for sure. Well, since we're starting off small, it would probably only be a few jobs, and after that, we would probably fully start bringing this out to everyone. We would have that past experience, hey, we've had multiple pet sitters, and they've been well behaved, they've been doing their job correctly, and also just just developing that trust between the customer and the pet sitter would be meet and greets, just constant communication, all of that.
For the primary communication between it, is it via Nextdoor? Is that correct?
No. So what we would do is on your resume, besides everything that we would ask, the hours you can work, the days you can work, we'd also ask for your contact information. And once you get someone's resume, you'd have their phone number, anything else like a Gmail, any other forms of communication. So that would just be, between you and the customer.
Given that as a business owner, you're kind of giving a lot of control over to the people who are actually watching the animals, will you have a master list, or how do you manage knowing what your workers are doing at any time? Are you going to have them check in or require that they log which job they're doing and when, so that you have insight and purview into that?
Yeah, for sure. Beginning, it would just be logging and, keeping track of them in that sense of just logging and tracking where they are and the jobs that they've worked in the past week or the past month.
Thank you. Excellent work. Nice job. Thank you for going first. Always a tough one. You did great. So next, I would like to please welcome Emmy Valin and Melissa Cerna with Smoothieverse. Not to spoil your name, but it's up already, so. Spoiler alert. Thank you. Here's your clicker. I don't know if you want it. Good.
Hello, I'm Emmy Valin, and this is my partner, Melissa Cerna. We are the co-founders of an upcoming local smoothie shop that provides culturally unique flavors that Truckee doesn't already have.
We decided to create a survey and spread it around Truckee High with over 100 submissions from students, 1/8% of the whole school population. They responded to us by saying that they don't spend enough money on sweets such as smoothies because there is no shop nearby. We also took a poll to see who would go if there was a closer shop to them, and there was about 90.6% of the 100 submissions that had said that they would want to go. Our shop offers biodegradable and compostable silverware and bowls. We believe in helping the environment and staying plastic free. Everything we use for our customers is plant-based and great for the environment. We would have multiple flavors such as green mint chocolate, horchata, mangoneada, huckleberry, and matcha. We believe in making cultural-based flavors and kind of include more diversity in the type of flavors we sell.
So our target audience is Truckee High School students along with high altitude fitness members because they're right across the street from each other. And I did talk with a few people who do go to the gym, and they said they were looking forward to having a nice refreshing smoothie after a long workout. And a lot of the students from Truckee High do go across the street like almost every day after school to go work out. So that would also be really beneficial. And then in the summer, we also plan on attending events such as Truckee Thursday to get our name out there, or like events at the park, since there's always so many different people looking for a way to refresh themselves. And we also made an Instagram account called Smoothieverse, and we already have 1,400 followers, and they are very interested customers.
So we actually took a survey. We got little taste cups and we took it to school, and there were 29 responses. We gave out the mangoneada one, thinking that that's going to be one of our most popular flavors. And most of the people that did taste it said that it was really good and that they would spend money, especially on this type of flavor that we have. This is our team. We're all Latinx students from all over the Latinx community, and we hope to bring together our ideas and kind of bring up different culturally unique flavors, as well as just incorporate everyone.
Now for the financial projections from each smoothie we sell, we profit $3.35. And based on our data from our survey, we expect around 38 customers daily, since 96 of the students said they would go 2 to 3 times a week to buy a smoothie. So in our first week, we plan on profiting $358, but for the next 5 weeks, we plan on profiting $568 because we won't have to buy the 1,000 cups again, and those do cost $210. For overall, in the first 6 weeks, we plan on profiting $3,198. And in the second phase, we do plan on profiting $7,200.01. And then I will get more into phase 3 in the next slide, since it is a little more complicated. We want to start off asking for investments in phases to slowly prove ourselves and secure that our plan is working, so that we can build up our business step by step. So for phase 1, we're planning to start off selling 3 days a week for 3 hours from 12 to 3, which targets lunch hours for the high school and after school for high school students or other gym members going to the gym, so they can get the refreshing drink before or after their workout. And each day we will pre-make the smoothies and store them in a cooler, so that we can provide these smoothies before we get our truck, and then before we can be mobile, basically. And we would ask our friends for a $250 loan or family, and we ask you guys. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I'll go quick. So basically for the second phase, we just want to save up that money that we're profiting for our truck, and then with the money that we're asking the investors for, we want to get all the equipment that we need. And then after the second phase, we want a $1,500 equity investment, and then we will switch our location and start going 5 days a week. So we will incorporate 2 more flavors, since we do only sell 1 flavor a day while we're starting off. And then at that point, we should hire 1 part-time employee, and then also our team members will be working, so we can kind of just get the feel. And then we will identify the lease, the insurance, the food license, and all of that fun stuff. So thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, you can email us at smoothieverse at gmail.com, or you can message our Instagram.
Okay, thank you, ladies. Sorry about the time, but I just have questions for you now.
Hi, thanks so much for presenting. You did a great job. I was curious, you mentioned, your operating hours would be 12 to 3. I'm assuming you guys are still in school. Who's working, and how can they work those hours?
I'm All of our team members are seniors, so we do have a lot of off periods. Like Melissa has a 4th period off, and lunch starts at 12:30, so she could go from then to 3:30. That would work out.
Thank you so much. So I was wondering, you have the plan for the truck, which seems to be in a later phase. Where will you be selling out of prior to that? And I think also the latest phase was about the insurance and all of those things. So how does it work selling before you have those things set up, and where will you be?
Okay, so for now we're thinking of selling like right across kind of by the sidewalk. Just like with the stand and then our cooler with our pre-made smoothies and stuff. So then it's easier to see if it's really worth taking time into this business. And then, well, yeah, before we get the truck, that's our plan.
Does that require permits?
Yeah, that does require a permit, and that is usually around 5,000 to 10,000 with insurance.
Let me see if I want to make sure I understand that. So for the proof of concept phase 1, you need those permits. And so how are you thinking about funding some of that in the context of the investment?
Well, we were researching on that, and from what we found, we don't have to get a permit until we make about $5,000. So we won't need that until phase 2, because the first phase we're only making around 3,000 something. And then between phase 1, we will start working on that. So then we can keep the plan going.
You mentioned that the, excuse me, this smoothies will be pre-made. Where are they making it? Are you taking food and safety into consideration there?
Yeah, we actually will be making them at home. And kind of just like storing them in a cooler where we're like centered, and just work from there for now until we get the truck.
First, I love this, and I love knowing your customer, which it seems like you all have done a really nice job of identifying. Have you thought about kind of competitive landscape? You know, is high altitude contemplating a smoothie bar? Are there other competing kind of forces that you're worried about in the context of, it seems like geographic proximity to the high school seems like a key selling point?
Well, there is like wild cherries around the school, but they don't really have any like super cultural or like special flavors. It's all kind of just like the basic like strawberry, blueberry, or banana. So we don't really need to worry about that because ours is a little different since we are having different flavors. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job. Okay, thank you, Smoothieverse. So next, I'd like to welcome Sophia Martin with Los Puentes Lingüísticos. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Perfect. Hi, so my name is Sophia Martin, and I'm a sophomore at Truckee High. As a student, I have noticed a disconnect between the white and Latinx communities at our school. I have also seen that this disconnect expands to our greater Truckee community. I have experienced a lack of opportunities for cross-cultural interaction. In a poll I took, 95% of students said that they would like to interact with more diverse cultures at our school, and 80% said that they have 0 to 1 friends from different cultures. Now, this disconnect is perpetuated in our Spanish classes by not incorporating enough local Hispanic culture and by not providing enough authentic opportunities for conversation in Spanish classes. For example, in my Spanish class, I've been watching videos about random subway stations in Peru instead of learning about the local Hispanic culture from people who actually live here. How do we solve this? By inviting native Spanish speakers into our classrooms. In this business, I propose inviting native Spanish-speaking students into Spanish classrooms to be guest conversation leaders. This will hold up the value of the Spanish language in our school community and will provide authentic opportunities for conversation for non-native speakers. This will also create an internship system that deepens peer-to-peer connections. In terms of outreach, our main outreach will be to our student language leaders through classes, clubs, flyers, other school communications such as community liaisons, and social media. We will also be reaching out to Truckee High and district admin. In terms of fiscal support, for competitive analysis, there is no other business that exists like Los Puentes Lingüísticos, a needed initiative that helps students, teachers, schools, and community. In our pilot, we are starting out by paying these student language leaders $20 an hour to give them incentive to be a part of this engaging community. We are also seeking funding from our community donors and organizations. Now, we are a nonprofit, so that means that our first year will be donation driven. In years 2 through 5, we will be applying to TTUSD to seek annual funding for sustainable funding and also looking at grant funding if needed. Now, scalability. We're starting out with one classroom, initiating this project in January of this year. Next year, we're going to scale it to all of Truckee High. And in year 3, we're scaling it to all the Spanish classes across the district. This scalability and continued growth of impact can be seen on the graph on the right in terms of how many students we are reaching and impacting. The center of our team is our student language leaders. These are the people actually in the classrooms leading the conversation and cultural engagement. On our team also is Logan Maloney, our school principal, Myra Placencia, our community liaison, Truckee High Spanish teachers, and me as the lead organizer. The budget for our pilot is $2,000. I have already had 2 matches, 2 donations for $500, and I'm looking for donations to match that to accomplish our budget of $2,000, which will cover topics costs such as wages, marketing, and training. I am also looking for collaborators, students or adults, to help me with any specialties you have, especially those who are native speakers. Now, Los Puentes Lingüísticos will bridge cultural gaps and will by inviting native speakers into classrooms and will deepen peer-to-peer connections, providing more authentic and engaging experiences for students for the Spanish language. Thank you for considering my pitch.
You're 2 seconds left.
One, I just want to say, wow, what a great presentation. You are destined for a boardroom. That was incredible. Also, this is something that's near and dear to my heart. My husband and I have talked about this a lot when we were in high school, like, why weren't the English people hanging out with the Spanish people?
Exactly.
It's kind of like, it seems like a no-brainer.
Exactly.
The one thing I had a question of is just like, you're going to be paying the students. Again, it kind of goes back to my smoothie question, is like, how do the students account for that time? Like, they need to be in school as well. Is this part of like, is it only eligible for seniors when they're not in class? How does that dynamic work?
Definitely. So we kind of have 2 models. Our first model is paying those who have off periods to come into Spanish classes and be student language leaders. Our second model is to kind of merge two Spanish classes. So at our school, we have classes for Spanish native speakers. And so we will be working with those classes, and a few students from those classes will come into, say, a Spanish 2 class and lead conversation groups. So it kind of works whether you have an off period and are a senior, or whether you're in a Spanish class right now.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
I was wondering, you mentioned something earlier on about internships and then also guest speakers. And I'm wondering the role of the student leaders. What role do they play? Are they coordinating the guest speakers? And will you please explain the internship, what you meant by that?
Yeah, so the guest speakers are the student language leaders. And then the internship piece, it's really an experience for the students because they are getting paid. It's an internship for the students to experience what is it like teaching Spanish? What is it like using Spanish in more of a teaching profession? And also, what is it like framing Spanish in academic conversations to achieve different goals?
Thanks for that. Great presentation. Can you talk a little bit more about the pilot and have you aligned with the school district on what they need to see, what kind of performance indicators they'll look to make a decision on providing stable funding going forward and scaling across the district?
Yeah, definitely. So I've started out by talking to my principal, and she is very on board with this idea. And some of the things that they are looking to see as far as success factors, I am in the process of sending out a survey, asking questions, like I said earlier, about how connected do you feel to other cultures? Additionally, how engaging are Spanish classes? And the numbers have been quite low on those. And so what we're trying to see with the pilot is that those numbers definitely increase. And additionally, that the people taking the optional higher level classes, Spanish 3, Spanish 4, and AP Spanish, increased because they see that their Spanish is actually applicable for the world beyond high school. They're not just conjugating verbs, they learn how to speak it.
I was wondering if you think students would participate with the pay, or like how crucial is the being paid for it versus having credit, or like having this community mindedness or some kind of academic recognition for participating? And have you explored that through any kind of survey?
Yeah, definitely. So students mentioned that being paid is a definitely a high incentive because it shows that their Spanish is actually valuable. It gives fiscal value to Spanish skills. Additionally, they mentioned that getting rewarded elective credit would be an option. However, we're not sure how that would work and if that is possible with the way that classes are structured, if it would be possible to almost create a kind of new class. So we're starting out with the pay because that's definitely something simple that we could start in January. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Great job, Sophia. Okay, thank you so much to all of the students for coming. This is our first time having students in our pitch camp. They worked really hard over the last month to edit, adjust. They answered really tough questions. You guys all made changes in the last couple of days. You've been working on it till the last minute. So congratulations and really good job. Thank you. We're going to switch over to the companies category now. And our first pitcher in the companies category is Ansley Fender with Atlas Inc. Thank you. Move that forward. You're good to go. My name is Ansley Fender, and I'm the founder and CEO of Atlas, the first grant management software that enables grant funders and recipients to collaboratively manage their funding to recapture the estimated $400 billion a year that is spent on manual grant management. Every year, $2 trillion in grants are dispersed by government and private funders. And about 20% of that funding is actually spent on managing the finances, budgets, programs, and reports in spreadsheets and siloed platforms. This makes it nearly impossible to understand impact in real time. This means that we're collectively spending $400 billion a year on managing grants, yet we don't actually know if we're being efficient and effective with $2 trillion. Let's take a look at an example. Jill is a state government employee managing a pool of federal grant funds that she then re-grants to organizations like municipalities and nonprofits run by JACs. Like most grant recipients, the JACs don't have a quick and easy way to manage this funding, so they use spreadsheets. At the end of the grant cycle, they generate a report. Each of them generates a report to give to Jill. But because this funding is managed in spreadsheets, there's errors, missing data, and all the reports come in completely different formats. Jill then has to take all this information and distill it into a single report for the federal government. As a former grant consultant, I've talked with a ton of Jills, and I ask every single one of them the same question. What is the impact of your funding? And I always get the same answer. No idea. Atlas's mission is to stand in the gap between innovation and execution so that we can leverage grant funding to actually change our world. Here's how Atlas would work for Jill and the JACs. Jill can log into Atlas and create her federal grant, the budgets, programs, and outcomes that she needs to manage. Because Atlas enables funders and recipients to manage in the same platform, she can toggle over to the funder side and create all the awards for each of the JACs that she funds. Then the JACs can log in and manage their grant, their budgets, their outcomes, and their reporting. At the end of the grant cycle, the JACs generate a custom report that Atlas has built with Jill, and Jill can generate one report that distills all of the JACs information so that she can report to the federal government. As a two-sided software, we have the ability to sell directly to funders or recipients. When we sell to recipients, they pay a tiered monthly or annual SaaS subscription between $19 and $299 a month based on the total dollar amount of grants that they're actively managing. When we sell directly to funders, they pay 2% of funds dispersed, and each of the recipients gets to use the platform for free to manage that one funding source, which also acts as free lead generation for us. Since launching the platform in July and beginning to sell in September, we've grown 250% and added 7 customers. We're increasing revenue from new customers at an average of 20 to 30% week over week. And we're on track to close an additional $100,000 in ARR, ARR by the end of this year. And we're adding 5 qualified leads to the pipeline each week. Our entry-level market is economic development agencies for a serviceable obtainable market of $440 million. Most economic development agencies receive federal and or state funding and then re-grant that to small businesses, nonprofits, and municipalities, which gives us access to our serviceable addressable market of $5.8 billion. Our potential market includes federal, state, and local agencies for a total addressable market of $1 billion. Atlas is led by myself. I'm a former financial consultant, grant consultant, and analyst, and low-code developer. And I built Atlas because I saw how much my clients were struggling with managing their grants. Our technical advisor is Simon Beverton. He has over 20 years of experience in fintech development and consulting. Jeff is former managing director for Generator in India, and he is our business advisor. We're currently raising a $500,000 seed round, which will give us runway through the end of 2023. By which point we will have 337,000 ARR. We will use the funding to expand the team, launch a marketing campaign, hone our branding and messaging, and build out additional features on the grant procurement side of the grant cycle. The grant industry hasn't changed in decades, and with recent increases in funding for things like COVID relief and economic development, we've really highlighted how broken the grant process is. Municipalities are still sitting on millions of dollars of ARPA funding because of it.
Given our industry expertise and our two-sided approach, we're uniquely positioned to take advantage of this market opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You did a great job. I know you mentioned you have like 7 clients now. How are you thinking about, I've used platforms before. I'm thinking of Salesforce for business. And usually there's never a perfect cookie cutter model. There's always a need for some sort of customization that comes along the way. How will you handle that as you guys scale?
Yes, you're exactly right. So there's 2 approaches that we take. The first one is this is something I thought a lot about. Like I designed the platform and built it based on talking to my clients and things. So purposely made it like so that it's very divert. Like I don't have to custom build it, but it can really fit any sort of workflow. The second part is that we have a very customized onboarding process. So basically sit down with the team, everyone who touches the grants inside the organization, and we walk through what does your workflow look like right now? And how do we take that exact workflow and put it into the software with as few changes as possible. It has worked brilliantly with every single one. Sometimes it takes a little bit more finagling than others, but generally speaking, we haven't actually run into that problem.
Thank you so much. I was wondering, you said people are using a lot of Excel spreadsheets. Is there any other software that people are using that you're essentially competing with that maybe wasn't designed like you have this in mind? Yeah, just trying to understand what else people are doing right now.
Absolutely. So by far the biggest competitor is spreadsheets. The rest of the competitors are divided by industry. So either GovTech or nonprofit tech. So one of the key competitors here is we're industry agnostic. Our long-term play is economic development at scale. You cannot look at data at scale if you're segregating by industry or by type of grant or any of the things that our competitors are doing. The other thing is that most of them are going after the largest 5% of organizations in their vertical. So they're very, very expensive, like prohibitively so, up to like $1 million a year, which is ludicrous. So we just took a radically different approach and we're going after the smaller ones and working our way up instead of starting at the top and working our way down.
Thanks for that fantastic presentation. So it sounds like customer acquisition and onboarding is an intensive process, heavily dependent on you. That may not change because of the market that you're targeting. How do you anticipate scaling so that you aren't that kind of core friction point?
Sure. So money for team members would be great. But outside of that, like it's very hands-on, but the longest onboarding I've ever done was 1 week. It just really doesn't take that much time. We set up a shared drive for them. They dump everything in there. I know the industry really well, so I go in and do exactly what I would have done manually for any sort of client. We set up a meeting. We're like, all right, we're good to go. And then I hand it off. Sometimes they don't take the baton, but we're working on how to address that. But yeah, I mean, most onboarding is like 8 hours at most, and they're paying for it. So.
It sounds like you have like a niche clientele that you're going to go after. My background is in digital advertising. I'm thinking like Instagram and Facebook and reaching people at scale. How do you reach your target audience?
So this is a fun problem that I worked on for like 6 months. So it turns out that most of these people don't exist on social media, like the organizations. So we have this weird problem of they don't exist on social media. And then we have the people actually managing the grants, which are millennials, older Gen Zs, up to like young Gen X. And then the managers are older Gen X that want nothing to do with anything other than a spreadsheet. So we're having to figure out, okay, I can target the millennials on social media. I cannot target their bosses. Their bosses don't exist on there. So what we've been doing and what seems to work really well is we will target the millennial. We will have a meeting with the millennial. The millennial's like, oh my God, it's the greatest thing ever. I'm going to go tell my boss about it. They become an internal advocate. They actually make the sale for us, bring their boss around a couple weeks later, and we just close the deal. The other thing that we do is like, we've really worked on how do we shorten the sales cycle. So we don't even go after certain industries at this point, like nonprofits, really, really slow to buy. So they're not our entry-level market by any means. And we've actually gotten our sales cycle down from like, even before we launched, we just closed a deal that took a year. We're actually closing in like the first meeting now.
Can you talk a little bit about beyond the kind of streamlining of reporting and simplification? You talked about the kind of value proposition around better analytics and the ability to really understand impact. Can you talk a little bit about kind of plans for or how already you can kind of support either visualization or other analytics around impact?
Yeah. So right now, a lot of that is custom around like custom reports or custom impact dashboards, things like that. What we're wanting to do long term, and I hinted at this a little bit earlier, is economic development at scale and becoming like a big data analytics company. So Reno, homeless problem. There's a lot of homeless people, and there's a whole bunch of reasons why people are homeless and why they stay homeless. If we have enough data on what homeless prevention or treatment looks like in San Francisco and LA and Reno and Las Vegas and all these other places, we can back into what does it cost to solve a problem? What are we measuring? What time period? That changes the landscape of how funding is deployed, how conversations around politics happen, elections, all those kinds of things. You can actually solve problems. $2 trillion isn't solving anything. That's a problem. Like, it's not permanently solving things. So that's what we're looking at long term. If we can actually get enough data and analyze it, then we can address these problems really, really strategically. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Ansley, you did a great job. Please welcome, next up, we have Daniel Feldman with Aprés Pop. Okay, there you go. There you go.
Awesome. Hi, I'm Daniel, and I'm starting a company called Aprés Pop, and I just want to make remarkably delicious popcorn. I have been into popcorn for kind of a long time. I have a father who I grew up with. For better or worse, he buys his popcorn kernels in 50-pound bags for his individual consumption. It is still my favorite snack. And so what I'd like to do with Aprés Pop is introduce flavors that are innovative for the commercial market, but I know are dialed into what popcorn does best, like our salty, savory original, our sweet and salty sesame and nori, and our sweet and spicy Szechuan chili. All of our popcorn is air popped using whole ingredients, so it really can be a guilt-free option for your snacking. And I really care about our environmental footprint. So we are going to have compostable bags. I've taken my first baby steps towards sourcing our kernels from a farmer outside of Sacramento. And my long-term vision for Aprés Pop is to measure exactly how many miles it takes for every ingredient to get to the consumer and see what I can do to reduce that year after year. Because as a Truckee resident, I would like to build a local business through and through. So I have taken this Google map and turned it into what I affectionately call the hashtag snack map. As if I don't already, I have visited nearly every brewery, bar, grocery store, coffee shop, and sandwich shop in our whole area, which has helped me learn to focus in on our breweries and bars that don't have kitchens that today are often offering big brand potato chips as their snack. And our independent grocers have great popcorn. I love it, but it's usually the same few big brand flavors over and over again. A lot of white cheddar. So whether you're a local or you are shopping for your weekend in Tahoe, I think I offer a more unique, delicious, and healthier alternative. We also have a lot of value for our retail partners, offering them the ability to make the same profit per bag as what they're selling now in almost all cases. And we're healthy as a business from day one, making sure that we are profitable on a per unit basis. I'm launching Aprés Pop with a taste testing program. Every week, I am personally delivering popcorn to some of my more than 50 testers around the Truckee area. I hope some of you will join this evening. And that is helping me not only refine my financials and my production, but get in front of my customer all the time. This sort of approach is in my DNA because of the background that I bring to Aprés Pop. In 2016, I joined IDEO.org, the nonprofit sister of the design firm IDEO, and I've been leading design thinking and strategy projects with organizations like the Gates Foundation and water.org. So as a professional user researcher, I feel like I've learned how to learn. So I will be running this taste test program for the rest of the year, as well as piloting with a couple of local businesses near where I live. And then moving into next year, I am structured as a cottage food operation, meaning I can run out of my home, keep my costs low, and learn quickly. I'm looking next year to move from 2 to 6 locations around Truckee, and this will give me the cash and the understanding of my business to invest about $25,000 to $30,000 in moving to a commercial space and equipment, letting me move to sell in the next year all the way around the lake. With that expanded production capabilities and a little bit of a history, a track record, I'll be ready to have my first conversations with our bigger, but still local grocers like Rayleigh's and Grocery Outlet, Bargain Market. And looking out to the future, there's just so many opportunities to expand into different channels. I don't know if you've driven around Emerald Bay on a Saturday in the summer, but we have about 15 million visitors to the Tahoe area every year and about 14,000 weddings. So we would love to be the ski hill popcorn and look at these new channels as ways to give our visitors a really place-based snack, because that's what's important to me. I named the company after Aprés Ski because whether you like to do it at the base bar, the parking lot, on the trail, or at home, Aprés Ski is after you did something fun, but before your evening. And popcorn is just a fun snack for fun in between moments. Because I am bootstrapping this company, my asks are simple. I hope that you will let me bring you popcorn, sign up for it as a taste tester, either in the hallway if you're here in person or at aprépop.com. 2, if you run or know somebody who runs a business that may want to pilot or carry Aprés Pop, I would love to connect. And 3, I would love to have early conversations anticipating raising a little bit of money for commercial equipment in about a year's time. So thank you so much. I hope to meet all of you over a beer, a smoothie, and a bowl of popcorn soon. Thank you.
I'll go first. Thank you. That was awesome. I'm excited to taste it. Also, we are opening a showroom at the beginning of next year, and we'd love to have you guys. We're going to give away like beer and wine at our showroom. So we'd love to have you as a product in there. I may have missed it on the slide, but I wanted to understand just like your price point versus like the mass produced. Is that a big margin difference? Obviously, your costs are going to be higher overall. What does that look like?
Yeah, we are a little bit more of a premium product. So what I've found is that, we're competing in a couple of different ways. Against chips, I've seen them priced at our breweries and bars for $2.50 to $4. I think in that setting, fries are $7. So we're looking to be priced to the consumer at $6 to $7. We think that it's a more premium product, but still pretty affordable. I bought popcorn the other day that was $14 for a bag, and so I think we can easily swing it. In the grocery store, more like $3 to $6. So we're not too far above that, with hopefully offering a much better product.
I want to hear a little bit more about your footprint and the role that plays both in costs and in your kind of go-to-market and consumer strategy. So you talked about dipping a toe into sourcing corn locally in the Sacramento Valley, but what are there commitments the business is making, and how will those affect your overall pricing?
That's a great question. I mean, my overall philosophy is that we need to be viable and profitable or we go nowhere, but we don't need to make every single cent that we can possibly make. And I just want that to be part of the ethos. And so, yes, there are many businesses out there doing kettle corn that are using polyplastic bags. We're going to be paying a little bit more for ingredients for our bags. All of the numbers that I'm showing here are trying to be really conservative. This is before any kind of economies of scale in terms of my ingredients. So we are going to have a little bit higher cost than we will endure, but I think we can be profitable even with that. And I think we'll have consumers that kind of connect with the message.
Thank you so much. I'm wondering if your focus is on getting the local kernels. How do the economies of scale work if you're looking to go more nationally or throughout California, if you're having to source everything more locally for each market? Have you thought about that at all?
It's a great question. And to be honest with you, I haven't had my first conversation with that farmer yet. I've been working towards it. And so there's questions there that I don't have the answer to. I know that we can be viable by buying popcorn kernels from distributors that everyone buys popcorn kernels from. So there is that fallback. Right now, my focus is to create a lifestyle business and a snack that honestly Truckee can be proud of and enjoy eating. I have thought about it, and I have a larger vision that includes creating regional pockets. I think that I would rather get successful here and then help another entrepreneur and set of companies and farmers be successful somewhere else. So there's a lot more questions there than answers, but I think my most complex product has 8 ingredients. If we can't do it, if we can't build a local food system around popcorn, we can't do it with anything. And so my fastest region, I would want to scale regional pods.
There are a lot of beloved brands that are Tahoe based. And I think we love to support them. A big strategy is kind of like making it feel distinct to Tahoe. Truckee Love comes to mind, you know, a great businesswoman and someone who's rooted her business in our culture. You know, while you are based out of Tahoe, how does this popcorn feel here? Is it like, are you thinking about like a Tahoe flavor? Like, how do you kind of like make this feel, you know, a thing that is Tahoe, not just something that's like made from here?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. I hope you'll agree that tonight is a good start. I have been feeling really lucky to make use of our local resources, and as I get this thing off the ground, and it's only going to be sold here to begin with. Beyond that, and also sourcing ingredients as much as I can locally, really trying to get those miles down. That's where I'm starting. From there, I would love to create individual flavors for different organizations. Some of the ones that I'm piloting with, hopefully it'd be great to be like, this is only true here. Or, and the other thing I would really like to do is some of my flavors are internationally inspired. I would really love to partner with local restaurants and those chefs and help refine those flavors. And then maybe say like, hey, did you like this? There's a lot more of this cuisine at this restaurant. So I think that's the idea stage right now, but that's another way that I would love to kind of be a really local company. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Daniel. That was awesome. I'm hungry. Suddenly I'm hungry. Okay, so last but certainly not least, we have Craig Rowe with the Jaguar Initiative. Here you go.
Okay, well, it's so cool to see all these homegrown local ideas, business pitches, and what could be more local and homegrown than our young people. My name is Craig Rowe, and I'm the founding director of La Fuerza Latina, which at its core is a college admissions program. And because of our community and the people in it, so many of you in this room, I'm very excited that we can go to any students, whether they come up in the public housing at Hennis Flats or they grow up at the trailer parks at 89 and West River, that when the sun rises, it rises for everyone. With La Fuerza Latina, we're headed into our 8th year of our mission cycle. And so far, we have over 52 local, low-income, first-generation students who are either currently on a 4-year graduation path or have already attained their undergraduate degree in 4 years. 100% graduation rate. It's a 100% graduation rate. Nationally, that's 25% graduation rate. And that is because of the generous spirit of the community and the people in this room. But as our students graduate, the real challenge that's emerging is the professional placements. Now, the computer scientist kid, the engineering kid, they're fine, straight out of undergraduate. Those sectors with those marketable skills right out of undergrad are getting hired in professional level jobs. Many of our students now, regardless if they're graduating from USC in political science, or they're graduating from UCLA, some of the schools, Tufts, Wesleyan, some of the most prestigious schools in our country, unless it's a technical degree, if they do not have professional experience, their parents have imbued them with immeasurable skills of work ethic, of resilience. The one thing that the families can't offer in almost every case is professional network or professional experience. So I don't care what the degree says or where it's from. If you don't have professional experience, you're not breaking out of the service industry cycle. So the other challenge that we're seeing that makes our students' challenge unique is that they're on a timeline. The average four-year degree timeline in this country is 6 years to get a bachelor degrees. Our kids have to get through in 4. Why? Because typically financial aid runs out in 4. So they are highly incentivized to get through in 4. That means that every single semester they're overloading with units, which does not leave much time, if any, for professional experiences and networks. the solution, the ask, the Jaguar initiative. What is the Jaguar initiative? A funded gap year program right here in Truckee. So when our students can graduate, they can come home and enrich the community. Otherwise, they get out and then look at the same limited options that they started with. And then we all have to ask ourselves, what was that 4 years about? What was that investments about? So the Jaguar initiative, the ask is twofold. These are proposed community partners. Our students come out with designated areas, Tahoe Forest, City Council for political science majors, students interested in public policy, Porter Simon for law and financial services with Clear Capital. These would be entry-level positions, 10-month, but also resume builders as well. As part of the Jaguar Fellowship, students would offer once-a-month meetings with local mentors working on interview skills, resume building. There would also be a $12,000 stipend for each Jaguar Fellows. That way, when mom and dad understandably ask, well, why are you working for minimum wage at Porter Simon when you could be working for more at the restaurant? That we can tell the fellows, well, look, there's a $12,000 stipend that is based on community foundation grants, Martis Camp grants, Tahoe Donner grants, local fundraising, applying to workforce agency housing as well. So give our local scholars the best opportunity to build professional experience. So in the end, when I moved up here, everybody talked about the Truckee community, and coming out of the Bay, I have to admit I was a little skeptical, but since I've been here, it's been nothing but yes. Would you like to do some mentoring? Yes. Can we bring some kids to a pitch camp? Yes. Can we help our kids with interview skills? Yes. This is a yes community. I'm very proud of it. And we can genuinely go to even some of the students in this room tonight and say, when the sun rises, it rises for everyone. So I thank you very much. I'm nervous at 5.
Thank you so much. I love the initiative of it. Is there anything else out there like this that you could help benchmark to that is like that you can use as a pilot program template to help kind of set up metrics for success?
AmeriCorps City Year. In fact, we have La Fuerza Latina scholar. She's got a double degree from UC Berkeley. Did it in 4 years. She came out and she wanted to get some clinical experience before she went on to graduate school. Our students, either they go into graduate school directly, but that takes, GRE, LSAT, MCAT prep while they're getting through in 4 years. So it really squeezes out. But even the graduate schools like to see professional skills. Our scholar is on AmeriCorps, but the total compensation for AmeriCorps with no housing or whatsoever is $1,000 a month. It's $1,000 a month. So we had to generate we have a very generous local donor who has known this student a long time. So we had to generate our own little side thing. So the AmeriCorps program is the template where ideally TTCF would serve as the host foundation, do the vetting, the application, the distribution of the fellowship funding, as well as getting the scholars together once a month. So TTCF would be the version of AmeriCorps, but AmeriCorps is deeply under-resourced. So we're not reinventing the wheel here. We are using an AmeriCorps model, but just giving them a little more investments.
Hi, Craig.
Hi.
Thank you so much. Obviously, you've had a ton of success with your first program. So this is exciting. Yeah. So what I'm wondering, these students who have finished 4 years of college in like this more compressed timeline and have been very successful, why would they be paid minimum wage and require this stipend? Don't they have the skills to be paid more, so the stipend part isn't necessary? If you could help me understand that piece.
No, that's a great question. And again, to underscore it, the students, and we have some, who are computer science major. We have a kid who graduated from UCSD with engineering. He's working for this AI company. Those aren't the kids I'm concerned about. And then we have a couple. We have one, Brizeth is at Stanford's graduate school, straight out of undergrad as well. Very proud of her. Those are the outliers. Those are the outliers. The poli-sci kid who's never had a chance to work in a town council, who's never had a chance to work in any sort of utility district working on policy, they will Jalisco on the resume. And then they're sending that out there to, some town. They have no experience whatsoever. So what professionally are they qualified for? Really minimum wage until they get the professional experience going. That raises a lot of questions at home. We need you providing. We need you helping out. Now, culturally speaking, the good news is when I talk to our scholars, as I did yesterday, I was visiting one at UCLA. They're excited about the prospect of coming and living at home. Some other cultures, some other students may, in different areas, may say, I'm not going to move back in with mom and dad. Our scholars are excited about that prospect. They don't look at that as they look at it as an opportunity. So to answer your question, I'm talking about the students, the humanities majors, the poli-sci majors who don't yet have any professional experience whatsoever. So I'm not sure their marketable skills are there yet.
And just a quick follow-up. Would that work to incorporate that in their summers in between while they're still in undergrad?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to do a mini summer one. I would worry, I target, one of the things I do with LFL is we target usually graduate school programs. For instance, one of the slides I have up there, a student did CHCI, she's a Congressional Hispanic Caucus intern in Washington, D.C. We've had students do SHEP, which is a medical school summer programs. So usually in the summers, they're either back here working, trying to make money, or they're taking advantage of some of the opportunities, more academic training, but it's less professional. The ones I just rattled off are more academic on the CV as opposed to professional experience. But I would love to do a mini version of it in the summer as well.
Yeah, it certainly seems like if you think about like traditional kind of growth path towards like a real professional resume, like that summer internship experience is critical. So for those that aren't moving to like secondary follow-on education, like that summer internship model feels really powerful. What is the funding need? And sorry if I missed it, but like, what is the overarching funding need and strategy for this?
So there would be the buy-in of a minimum wage compensation from the community partner, right? And then to supplement it, we would raise it largely through grant money. So I do not anticipate needing every single year 4. I would like to have 4 available, but we may only have 2. There may be only 2. So we're talking about $24,000 a year total. I put 12,000 per in case we get that many. But on a given year, I could see maybe there's one who's coming out with an interest in law school. Maybe there's one other one who has an interest in policy, but there's only 2. So it's not like $48,000 every single year. But I'd like to have those pathways available. Martis Camp, it gives LFL rather generous grant funding for our admissions work. We've approached them, Tahoe Donner, we have generous philanthropists as well. And the final thing I'll say is we have some exploratory talk with California State Workforce Training grants as well, because I think our rubric would fall under theirs guidelines around workforce development.
Okay, thank you. That was 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay, everybody did such a great job tonight. Thank you, everyone. That was great. Okay, so the next phase of the evening is that the people get to speak, figuratively with your dots. The judges are going to go into a cloistered room and deliberate for approximately 15 minutes, and they will make a choice for the first prize in each category. Meanwhile, you will take your dot and you will place it on one of the pieces of paper on the corkboard back there as to your vote. If you're on YouTube, again, you can comment and we'll count your vote. And we will reconvene to announce the winners in about 15 minutes. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that there is dessert in the hallway. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the girl. Thanks for voting. Ellen. Ellen, I can count them here. I can count them here. The votes, if there are. If you are a pitch presenter, can you come to the front, please? And also if you can hear me. Broke his leg. So so we decided to close the yeah, so he's
No, it's okay. You know,
Yeah.
No, it's okay. Yeah, sure. Chop, chop, clap, clap. Is the microphone on? Are we good? Okay. Okay, so as we await the final deliberation of the esteemed judging panel, I wanted to just briefly come back on and say my thank yous for the evening. So first, thank you to all the entrepreneurs for your time and energy. You guys did an amazing job tonight. Thank you to the judges. I'll have to repeat this one for your thoughtful feedback as they walk in. And thank you to our mentors for your time working with these amazing companies and the inspiring students here. Once again, sponsors, could not do it without our sponsors, and we're very grateful. And to our wonderful partners, Tahoe Silicon Mountain, specifically Ed Steinglass, Ellen Rayner, and Connie Galippi, who generously donated their time to weeks of prep calls, promotion, and mentorship. And finally, thank you to you all, the audience, for supporting the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Truckee and helping it grow. This is an annual event, so we really hope to see you next year. Maybe you'll be pitching, maybe you'll be in the audience, maybe you'll be judging, maybe you'll be sponsoring, who knows? But thank you very much for coming. So I'm going to turn it over now to the judges, and they have a small piece of feedback for all 6 of the participants, and then we will announce the winners. So hang on, I'm going to back up. Here we go. This is in no particular order, so you don't have to go by this order if you don't want to.
Then I'm up first. Okay, Smoothieverse. We really loved that you guys have such a fun, unique, creative idea that you're trying to bring cultural relevance of like different flavors and really be more representative. I think that's awesome. Also, you've already got a great Instagram page set up, like you know how to reach your audience in a really great way. We felt like the real challenge, especially for your validation stage, was like not thinking necessarily fully through those like food safety costs. How do you make food in your own home? What does that look like? And so really thinking about the opportunity for that validation stage of not necessarily focusing on making any money, but going and partnering with some local businesses. Will the pizza shop across the street from the high school let you run a pop-up shop a couple days a week, or even on a Saturday or something like that? Would the gym allow you to do that? Think about those resources that are already established. They'll ask for money to do it, and that's fine. But that phase of your business is really just trying to be like, is this a valid business model? And then that lets you grow to the next phase.
Right. Tahoe-Truckee pet sitting. Where are you? Amazing job. Loved your presentation. No, you don't have to stand. Now I have to stand. You were confident, straightforward. Love the way you framed the opportunity. Liked how you talked about an app as a potential growth opportunity, that both within the region and outside of it. I think where we all felt like there might be worth revisiting was around the role of the entity itself in validating the safety and reliability of the kind of independent pet sitters, right? That you've on the one hand got an incredible mission around getting jobs to folks that are typically kind of underemployed and underserved. And on the other hand, if I'm a homeowner, one of the things that I go to Rover for, right, is that reliability. And so how can you as a business be that go-between that builds confidence and make sure that folks feel like there's accountability on the other end of it? But amazing job. Really, really excited to see your presentation.
And Sophia? Wonderful. And you don't have to stand. I just want to make sure I was looking at or towards you. But first of all, amazing presentation. You have a really good presence up there. And your mission is super compelling. I think our places that we thought you could look into or expand into is bringing in more members of the community to the classrooms in addition to the students. We also talked about maybe an expansion into some one-on-one tutoring for people who are having trouble in their classes. And the other place that we thought maybe deserved a second look was in the payment model for the students versus the credit, and exploring that more and how students would feel knowing that their peers were being paid in the classroom. Just looking into that more.
Thank you.
These are both me. Craig. Thank you so much. I've known your work in the community for a long time, and so this is very aligned with that. A very compelling mission, and obviously you know how to get things done. I think the places that we saw as more opportunity for fleshing things out is working with these local businesses and governments to define what these positions are going to be like, what resources are required for them to be able to offer these positions. Do they need to be designed specifically for the students, or do the students fit into something existing? And then secondarily, what I was saying in my questions to you about the summer, is there a way to also incorporate this in the summers for these kids to, even give them more of a leg up? I don't know if it could be a replacement, but something to explore.
Aprés Pop. Oh, great presence. Your IDEO background has obviously served you well. We really liked your go-to-market strategy, scaling strategy. It all sounded realistic, and your asks were clear and pragmatic. I think the two constructive pieces of feedback would be, one, look, if you're going to go on the local and environmental kind of track, really own it and lean into it. And if you're selling $7 bags of popcorn, kind of articulate that in a really compelling way. Which it sounds like there's ambition around, but just still some business development to do. And the second is, like, as you move from local, businesses to regional retailers, Rayleigh's and others, bringing in, CPG experience. I mean, there's a heap of it in the Tahoe Basin, but folks that know that challenging sales cycle, may serve you well.
Sorry, I got to turn the microphone on. One, we thought you did a really great job. It's exciting to think about such a big opportunity, a $400 billion opportunity, to even have like a little bit of that pie as a big one. And so it just, this would open up funds to do more good. It also relieve a headache that I think deters people from going down the grant route, because can be so cumbersome. So that would be an amazing impact to have. Our areas of opportunity were, one, right now, like, you're the center of it, and you're onboarding one at a time, but imagine as you start to scale, 3 clients come on in a week. And while every software needs a little bit of finesse. And so just thinking about how to get it, to get yourself out of the center of it so that you can, grow and scale. And then also 2, really putting more effort into the business development. It's really hard that you can't reach your target audience through typical channels, but going through a creative exercise to figure out how you really can reach them, rather than relying on, millennials to reach out to their boss. And that's a lot of, effort that they have to do internally. And maybe they don't have the social cachet internally to do that for you. So kind of figuring out how you can be in more direct contact with your decision makers.
Sorry, I turned my mic off. Turn it back on. Thank you very much for your thoughtful feedback, judges. We really appreciate your time tonight. So first, I'm going to announce the People's Choice winner, and then I will let you judges announce the winners for each category. I don't even know. So just think about that while I announce the People's Choice winner, which is Sophia Martin with Los Puentes Lingüísticos. Great job, Sophia. Yeah, you can stand up. You can say, do you want to say something? Is there anything you want to say? You don't have to, no pressure.
I want to thank first of all the audience for coming, because definitely the nerves wouldn't be here, but also this great opportunity to present in front of many people and just to pitch. That wouldn't be a thing if it weren't for you. And thank you so much to our judges and our mentors. I have really, and Mr. Rowe, definitely, I have really grown in this process. And it's just been amazing to learn all of this experience. Yes, and thank you, Jess, for organizing this.
Thank you. Okay. The judges, the first category, please, would be the student winner.
As they say on the Great British Baking Show, I have the great pleasure today of announcing our student winner. And I don't have to send anybody home. Sophia, congratulations. Please stand and make a second speech.
Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I'm just kidding.
If you guys would like to contact me in any way, my email is gm5113@ttusd.org.
There we go.
Thank you for being here.
Good work. Good work, Sophia. Okay, so finally, thank you all for coming. The next winner for the business category.
Yeah, and I should note, it took us all 16 minutes of the 15 minutes that Jess allotted us to pick these winners. So congrats to everybody. I know this is a ton of work, and I hope everybody's really proud of themselves. Our big company winner is Ansley from Atlas. Congratulations.
You can say something if you'd like. You can make a speech if you want. Okay. Okay, so again, thank you all for coming. We really appreciate your time and energy, and we hope to see you next year.